Good evening, y'all. Chris Phillipson here. Today is Monday, December 8th, 2025, and welcome to episode 2 of Build With Me. Well, today we're going to take a look at Sindri and Ample again. These are two products that I was talking about the last time we met. And if you remember, we actually had a couple of defects in both products. And in the meanwhile, between Friday and now, I've kind of been busy. And I'd like to first show you a couple of pull requests that I've launched for Sindri to fix some things. Uh, First and foremost, if you remember, I think the problem was that we couldn't bring up the client in the actual instance, and now we can. And I'll prove that to you once I get this PR merged. And then another one is this, it's a new feature that I put together to generate a FAQ, and kind of like a dedicated FAQ that you can deploy and has full text search capabilities. And so people who are unfamiliar with Sindri can actually, start to interact with it. So let's visit this guy here. And since all of the tests have passed, I'm going to go ahead and squash and merge this bad boy and delete the branch. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm also going to see if we can't, look, here we go. We got to resolve some conflicts. Well, let's see what they are. What do we got going on here? Um, Build no cache. And facts, what you say, accept both changes. I think that's what we want. Mark as resolved. Commit. And we should be okay to merge this guy too. Squash and merge. Delete. All right, let's go back to here. All right, we were looking at Ample. Let me bring up another window here for CD Sindri. So I have that up. And we want to get checkout main. Oh, what's going on here? What did I put in here that I did not? Interesting. This is extension fixes. Okay, well, I'm going to git stash this. And then I'm going to git checkout main. So now we have all our, what do you call? We have all the stuff that we merged. Let me pull the latest. Okay, now I think we're ready to take a look at this new feature that is inside Docs. This is FAQ here. So you can run it locally with a Docker file. Actually, no, you can run it locally with a build, and I'll show you here that in just a moment. And then the Docker file is if we want to deploy this thing to Fly.io. So maybe we do that here together. So first off, I think there's a target for building the FAQ, which is in package.json. It's one of the build targets. Build FAQ, here we go. All right, so if I do npm build queue, build complete, great. And then I go back to back, show in a browser. And here we are with a FAQ. Let me get this stuff out of the way. I got something in my line of sight. Yeah. So this was kind of amazingly simple to build. You could go to Claude and probably try this out yourself in any repo that you can imagine. Basically, the prompt, I might even have that in my history. Let's have a look and see. Claude, Claude dash R. Let's see. Diagnose, percentage provisioning. You can see I've been busy here with lots of prompting, but I think I have one in here. Let's see what we got. Nope, 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 nope. Hmm, it's in here somewhere. If somebody knows a way to query your Claude history so you can kind of find things, boy, that would be kind of handy, wouldn't it? Right now, I'm just kind of launching through all the titles and I don't see it off the top of my head. Well, let me just place upgrade feature. We have an issue. Fact development. Here we go. Let's see what this has. Does this have the prompt in it at all? Yeah, it's probably too long a history. Well, you can see that I had kind of a back and forth with Claude, but initially what it started out as was that I wanted some way to gather all of the documentation, right? There's a whole bunch of documentation in the docs directory here, and kind of pick the top content from an end user perspective and create kind of like a FAQ, right? So I started out with, hey, can you build me a self-contained web page that is a FAQ. Each question and answer is styled like an accordion where you can expand and collapse it. You have a full text search bar. You've got light and dark mode themes. I want to do this with TypeScript. Can you help me out? And so it kind of did the basic gin up, but what it came back with was it said, hey, you gotta have a server. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't like this is just a web page. Can you just compile some JavaScript and have it all work client side? So then it went to work. And then the next thing was like, how could I build a data structure so that I could continue to add facts without changing the page itself? So back and forth we went, through a number of, you know, prompts and exchanges, etc. And the result, uh, again, is this page, which I think it's here. There we are. So what is Sindri? Sindri is a declarative provider agnostic cloud development environment system. It uses YAML defined extensions and optimized Docker images to deploy consistent development environments. So you have all these. You can filter down to just the getting started category or the configuration category, CI/CD automation. You can do things like filter. So if I type the word trigger, you can see how that filtered down. So like this was just built for me. This is awesome. Like this is the kind of stuff that you can put together. So um, yeah, I think the next step is, hey, I want to get this thing deployed, right? So if we wanted to deploy this thing, um, how could we do that? And I believe let's see if we've got some documentation. I bet I asked this thing to gin up some documentation for this. this and inside fly down here. What does this say? Deploying the FAQ static site. A Sundry FAQ is a self-contained static HTML page hosted at, it's not hosted there yet, right? If we go there, there's nothing there, right? But let's see if we can get it there. So cd docs FAQ, I think that's probably where we might be already. pwd. We are in Sindri, so we need to get ourselves into that directory. Okay. And then fly, control, deploy. Now, of course, I have already authenticated myself, so I have a token. Let's see if this works. So it's using this configuration. You've got an app name, a region, it's consuming a Docker file, it's setting up the service, it's setting it up to force HTTPS. It'll stop the machine if there's no traffic. So it's basically a scale to zero situation. You can provision some memory, and there's a CPU kind of, I guess it's like the operating profile for the CPU, and single CPU, right? This looks a lot like Cloud Foundry YAML to me. I mean, this is as simple as it gets. Um, so what do we got going on here? It says configuration is valid, but app is not found. Interesting. So that was not enough. Let's see what we need to do. How about this? Let's go back to Claude. If this thing will come up, let's go and say, hey, I need some help deploying my FAQ app to fly. This is what I attempted. Help. Paste that. Let's see what Claude comes back with. So let's do what it says. And now let's try again. Here we go. So meanwhile, probably want to adjust these instructions, right? Create application. And let's copy that command that we just did. So this, again, this whole output here is kind of reminiscent of, like, I guess the pack CLI from build packs, and KPack if you're doing like Kubernetes deployments of containers. It's using the cloud native build packs to kind of package the image and get it deployed. What this is doing is Fly.io is kind of a provider that, I guess, the base capabilities or the base engine behind it all is Firecracker VMs. It's like these micro VMs. Really cool stuff. What do we got? It says finished, launching. Visit your app. Hey, so let's visit it. Are we going to get something? Oh, it's trying. It says fail to open page. What are we missing? So fly, logs, no tail. Is it dash A and then the actual app name, Sindri FAQ? Is that what we do? What do we got here? Anything useful? Configuration, SSH Listening. Hmm. I wonder what it did here. Docker entry point. I wonder if it got confused with something because there's two things in here. Two, you know, there's the fly TML that we use when we uh, start up the instance of Sindri. And then there's this other app inside here, this back app that we're trying to deploy. But I thought I deployed this correctly. We're in the right directory, right? We're in the fact directory. So, computer startup. All right, back to Claude. Hey, I deployed the app, but it's not coming up on you check logs and diagnose might be the problem. Okay, what do we see here? We are waiting with bated breath for something back from Claude. I'll tell you what, let's pivot because I want to show you something else. Um, let's go to Ample. This is the other product that I'm working on. This is the kind of bulk merge dashboard application. Um, I don't think I pushed anything up here just yet, but I've got a branch feature fix bulk merge, right? So probably am in a position. Let's see, get status. All right, we got some stuff we haven't checked in here. Let me just do this. I'm going to fire up Claude here, and I'm going to say git commit. This is a command. It's a custom command that I have in the repo. What it does is it looks at the diff of the changes and comes up with a commit message that is expressive of all the changes that have been made. Um, so let's go ahead and do that. Now I have a complete picture of the changes. Let me stage and commit them with the appropriate message. And what do we see? Yes, proceed. Let this proceed here. Okay, so that's done. Let's go git push origin feature fix bulk merge. Let's get that up into GitHub. I've got this thing running right now locally. You can see it here is running. So if we go visit the app, which I think I've got it up here, here's our dashboard, right? So we've got two PRs that are ready to merge. If we go to the merge window, we can see these two, which are on Slappy. Let's go ahead and select both of them and click merge. And what do we see here? Oh, we failed one, but we merged the other. So we can close this. Let's go to the repo itself, which is here. Let's refresh, go to PRs, and we have one left. See that? Let's come back here. Do you see these? We got some security issues here. Let's go back to here. No, Claude. I'd like you to triage and fix security, these depend security issues. All right, let's come back over here. We're shifting a lot, right? This is what it means to be an orchestrator, right? You've got a couple of agents. One agent is working on one code base, and another agent's working on another code base. And so it's not unheard of to kind of switch contexts. You could have multiple code bases. You could contemplate driving this by GitHub issues, which we'll examine together sometime this week. I intend to show off how that could be done. Let's go back to this problem that we're having with Sindri getting the FAQ deployed. I'd like to think we could get that deployed in the time we have here together. And we're going a little bit over the standard 20 minutes, but let's get that done before we dodge and get out of here. We've got this here, fine. Curling. It doesn't. What is it doing? What is it learning? Found the issue. The app is working fine. You just have a typo in the URL. Is that what I did? There it is. Look at that. I bet you spotted that before I did. And if you were here, if somebody was if this was a live stream and somebody was hanging out with me, they would have said, "Hey, Chris, you fat fingered," which I'm known to do. So yeah, here we have it deployed now. And one other little nicety I think that I put in here is I added a badge to the README. So if we go to Sindri here and we look, we have this nice little badge here. If we click on it, we're taken straight to the FAQ. So that's cool. All right. Let's do one more thing before we duck on out of here. And I think that was that we were in the midst of trying to triage some Dependabot security issues. I could let this run. There is a mode with Claude that's kind of like your dangerously skip permissions mode, and it will go through and just do things on your behalf. I'm nervous about doing that on my own machine. If I've spun up a machine, like a Sindri instance on Fly, I'm a lot more keen or a lot more open to being able to do stuff like that. So let's continue down this path. See what it's doing. It's going down the dependency rabbit hole, I'm sure. So these dependencies must be, yes, package oriented. So this is all front end security type stuff. It looks like it's trying to sort out. And I bet this isn't the best way to go about addressing security concerns, there's all kinds of tools like one in particular would be like Sneak. I bet if I hook Sneak up to Ample, it could scan the repo, find the faults, and probably launch a PR on my behalf to fix this. So that might be the next thing we do together. I'll put that on the books. Let's go down the rabbit hole here a little bit more. All right. So this is cool. It kind of went through triaged and it's creating a PR with the fixes. That's kind of cool. All right, let's take a look at this pull request that it put together. All right, so here goes the CI. If we go green, then we can merge this and it should address these security concerns. This might take a while. Let's see. It's pretty fast. Not too bad. Let's see what it's doing. Oh, this is Slappy. What am I doing? This is a yet another product. Um, how did I get to working on that? That's interesting. Where were we? We're inside Ample. Why is this? That is weird. I went down a rabbit hole I probably shouldn't have. Aha. I see. I was so stuck on the fact that I thought that these issues were to do with Ample, but they were really to do with Slappy. And interestingly, you can work on problems, right? And it's aware. That's cool. So I'm not even in the repo locally, and it's working on things remotely and launching a PR. Now that's kind of cool. That's a discovery. I kind of like that. That's like an accidental discovery. All right, y'all. We're 8 minutes over the normal time frame. I hope you enjoyed the content here. I hope you learned something. I know I did. And I'll see you again tomorrow.